On your hard facts.
Because it chew fast.
America's Food and Drug Administration have said that Trump was incorrect.
There's information and misinformation.
Their own NAFDAC came out and told Donald Trump, "We're gonna be waiting me where you talk. Now you talk by yourself. We tell you it's okay."
And making sense of it can be hard.
Coyote, I will let you talk. Coyote, I will let you talk if you let me talk. Coyote.
But that's my job. Let's talk context. Let's talk statistics.
Talk about those bills at the Senate right now.
Let's talk to the experts and the newsmakers.
I see the kind of stability that will allow growth to happen by this time next year.
Every weekday at 3.
Good afternoon. I am Sandra Ezekwesili.
Let's talk hard facts.
Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. Your first hard fact: the Senate has passed the sexual harassment bill. Progress. Congratulations, Nigerians. So the next step is for the House of Reps to pass it and then send it to the president to sign it into law. How did this bill get revived? Nigerians demanded it. Nigerians watched reports about sexual harassment in universities and they got angry. They got angry online, they mobilized online, and then they protested at the National Assembly and they started to put pressure. Now we have a bill that has scaled the Senate. So when anybody just tells you keyboard warrior, when anybody tells you online noise doesn't achieve anything, when anybody tells you, oh, these young people, all they do is tweet and Facebook and Instagram, point them to this bill. Our second hard fact: NCDC has confirmed that the 5 COVID-19 cases in Cross River State are actually COVID-19 cases. They added them to yesterday's official numbers. There were 575 new confirmed cases nationwide, 123 of those here in Lagos. Big numbers because the virus isn't sleeping. So please, as you move about, stay safe, mask up, keep your distance, wash your hands, sanitize your hands as often as you can. If you wear a disposable mask, dispose of it when you get home so that people don't take it out of the trash and resell it. And listen to hard facts. That way you can get the latest on the pandemic. Tell your friends and your family and your colleagues to tune in as well. Let them hear the same great show as 500,000 of you do already. I'm going to start with the big three. Let's talk about the EFCC Acting Chairman getting interrogated for corruption. Then let's talk about the outgoing Ondo SSG saying Governor Akeredolu did not really win the 2016 elections. And then let's talk about how the closure of Third Mainland Bridge will work. It's going to be only partial at any given time, and it's going to last for 6 months. Remember, you can talk to us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3. And we're streaming live on Facebook, streaming live on YouTube as well, Nigeria Info FM. On today's Community U Report, Chukwudi is going to talk some more about this what's it called now? This closure of the Third Mainland Bridge, as well as some other areas where either the federal government or the state government is doing some work here in Lagos. So get ready to continue that conversation after we're done on the big three. On today's big hard fact, let's talk about the Nigeria Bar Association. Today and on Thursday, I'm going to be talking to the lawyers who want to be the NBA president in this month's election. So if you have a lawyer friend, if you are a lawyer, if you have a lawyer daddy, a lawyer wife, a lawyer sister, a lawyer son or daughter, get them to listen to the show today at 5 p.m. They can listen online, nigeriainfo.fm. Today I have Olumide Akbata on the show with me, so look forward to that conversation 5 p.m. You'll get the news updates on the hour every hour. We've got just a minute coming your way as well. I'll hand you over to Rufai Useni for conversations at 5 o'clock. But right now it's time for the big three.
This is the Big Three.
The big three
on the hard facts
on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Was the 8th Senate right about Magu? Did the former Ondo SSG just admit to rigging elections? How will the closure of Third Mainland Bridge affect you? I want to know. By the way, I'm getting breaking news that Buhari has suspended Magu. I'm going to bring you more on that story as soon as I know more on that story. We've got breaking news that Buhari has suspended Magu. Daily Trust is reporting that Magu has been suspended. So that puts a new dimension to our first story, doesn't it? Now, he's the government's anti-corruption boss, and he was interrogated for corruption. Ibrahim Magu, the EFCC Acting Chairman. A panel set up by the president grilled him for 6 hours yesterday at Aso Rock. Now, let me take you back to last month when this wahala started. The Attorney General Malami asked President Buhari in a memo to remove Magu. He said Magu lied about money that the EFCC seized and also sold seized property without letting the AGF know. So at the time, the EFCC responded and they said, first of all, Magu returned more seized money than he declared. So obviously, he didn't steal. If he had stolen from the money, he would have returned less than what he declared. But the AGF says it doesn't matter. Once someone isn't given a 100% accurate account of money in his hands, it's a problem. Because what if he seized 2 billion, but only declared the seized 1 billion, and then returns 1.4 billion? And now let's go even farther back. Remember, Magu is only the acting chairman. He's been acting chairman for over 5 years. Why? Because the last Senate under Bukola Saraki refused to confirm him as full chairman. Why did they refuse to confirm him? Because the SSS, the State Security Service, gave them a report that Magu was compromised. The report says retired Air Commodore Mohammed Omar paid 2 years' rent for Magu. 40 million naira. The report also says Magu frequently uses Omar's private jet. Now, Magu responded. He said he paid his own rent. He also said he used Omar's private jet, but it was only twice. Once to go and see his sick mother, and once returning to Abuja from an official trip. But at the time, the Senate had questions to ask. And they were asking things like, why should the head of the EFCC be getting personal favors, like borrowing a private jet to see his sick mother? Wouldn't that compromise him in the future if the person who gave him the jet has a case? And those were the reasons why the Senate refused to confirm him, and they asked the president to send another name, but the president declined. He kept Magu as acting chairman for years. And now the AGF is saying Magu is corrupt. And suddenly the presidency is investigating him. And now we're hearing that the president has suspended him. Yesterday, we had eyewitnesses saying that Magu was arrested, but the EFCC said it wasn't true. They said Magu was merely invited to face the panel at Aso Rock, and he went of his own free will with an EFCC lawyer. It wasn't an arrest. It was an invitation. Well, I guess he was also invited to sleep over, because now the Punch is reporting that Magu spent the night in custody and that the interrogation continued today. Anyway, whether an arrest or an invitation, it doesn't change one fact. The head of our anti-corruption agency is being investigated and most likely has been suspended for corruption by the presidency. And I want to know what you think about it. 0700-993-993-993. Should Magu... No, that question has changed because, we've got new information now. Some people say that this current investigation, this step by the president, has vindicated Saraki and the 8th Assembly. What do you think about that? What do you think about the president suspending him? What do you think about the allegations that Malami made against Magu? And less seriously, what do you think about this disagreement over whether or not Magu was arrested? Christopher is on the phone. Hello, Christopher.
My Presido.
Good to have you on the show.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank God. President Sandra, I'm so happy with our President Buhari. You know, for some days now, I've been telling him to work for Nigeria. He should stop looking at Uche's face. He has done enough for Uche. But you know who I feel for now? My chairman from Magodo, from Community Akpan.
Okay.
When Saraki them were screaming this guy, I remember, oh no, corruption is fighting back. They didn't believe those guys. But today, the company, the party that claimed that they want to fight corruption, they are more in the National Assembly, right?
Okay.
Both chamber, they are more.
Okay.
The same Magu is still having problem. I remember when there's a governor, one former governor Bayelsa, when we say this guy is selective, they say no, he's not selective, he's doing his job. EFCC come out to say the guy has about 40 or how many houses. Before you know it, the same Attorney General is interested in that case. They now tell us the man has only 4 houses. Their former chairman, oh, if you are this, come to APC, your sin will be cleared. The same Akpabio in Akwa Ibom State, the guy was doing fine, but Comrade Akpan never see anything good in that man. The moment he jumped into APC, I never hear Akpan complain about Akpabio. So the man is selective.
I think you're going to have to keep your thoughts on the subject matter. Comrade Akman is not something I'm discussing. He's not a topic. The topic is a very different thing from what you're talking about, Christopher. And on the show, let's keep it on the subject. Especially because Comrade Akman hasn't called into the show today, so we don't know what he thinks one way or the other. Let's be respectful with each other, huh? Daniel, hello.
Hello, Sandra. How are you doing?
Very well.
Yeah, the fact that, Magu has been a victim of circumstances since the inception of this administration, right? He has been an acting of EFCC for 5 good years, not being confirmed. So it's been suspension by the president now. I believe it's not a surprise to Nigerians because they have been manipulating on that man and find a way to get rid of him from that seat. Can you imagine the amount that was stolen and he returned, and they still accuse him that he don't return the complete money.
So you think this was a witch hunt? You think he's not guilty of the allegations?
He shouldn't be guilty. It's just a setup. He was just being a victim of circumstances to this administration. Right from time, they have been finding a way to get him out of that very place.
I see.
I'm saying that's why they still kept him as an acting chairman of EFCC up to date. How can someone be acting for 5 good years? It's a way of frustrations. Where are we going in this country? This administration have really wrecked up this country, and we don't even know our bearings again in this nation.
So Daniel, to be clear, you think the Attorney General of the Federation, Malami, was in on it with the 8th Assembly, and all of them were sabotaging Magu? Is that what you're saying?
Dominated by the ruling party. So what do you expect there?
Dominated by the ruling party? I don't understand.
Exactly.
The person that chose Magu is the president from the ruling party.
No, you see, let's look at these things in a very critical way. That man is just being a victim of circumstances. That's the iron at the bottom line, actually.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand what you meant by victim of circumstances. You have a president who, if he had wanted to get rid of Magu, he wouldn't have kept him as acting chairman for 5 years. He wasn't obligated. No, he wasn't obligated to keep Magu on the job. So is it fair to say that he was a victim of circumstances? Things were just playing around him? That's not a very clear statement, and I'm trying to get to the bottom of what you're trying to say.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because, why then keeping him for 5 years on acting? Why not confirm the post?
If Senate refuses to confirm you, if Senate...
If you're not acting on a seat, you cannot work perfectly because you'll be one leg in, one leg out.
Okay. All right, Daniel.
Yes.
Thanks for calling. I'm not sure I understood what Daniel was saying, to be honest. And if you did, feel free to call into the show and let me know what you think Daniel was trying to say. Because Buhari wanted Magu to have this job. The Senate refused to confirm Magu. They told Buhari, bring another nominee. If anything, in fact, Buhari went out of his way to keep him on the job. And that's why he was acting chairman for years. So I'm not sure I understand where Daniel gets off to say that Buhari did bad to Magu. I don't know. Or maybe I'm not hearing right. Maybe I didn't understand what he was trying to say. I don't know. But let's talk to you. 0700-993-993-993. What do you think about the president suspending Magu? What do you think about the fact that the media was even locked out of the panel that interviewed Magu? Because I have a tweet here that says, much as I am happy to see Magu step away from the EFCC, I am uncomfortable with this cloak and dagger approach and the secret tribunals and secret charges. Nigerians deserve to see an open, transparent and independent prosecution and trial process through the courts. Let me talk to Edwin. Edwin Asukwa, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon.
Sorry, I didn't want to call, but I want to answer your question. You said somebody should call to talk about Daniel.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think Daniel's is ignorance about what he said.
Okay.
Because before now, it was crystal clear that Magun had so many allegations against him. But Buhari chose to keep him till this moment. Now it's like the chicken has come home to roost. So these are the kind of people that Buhari is working with. From who do you want to call among them who does not have one allegation? Even the Malami himself has his own.
But
everybody, Babachel Lawal, Bakari, all of them.
But it's the same Buhari who has now suspended him. What do you think about that?
I think maybe because sometimes because of if sometimes there's a stage or something will get to. Even you yourself, you have no option but to do what people are saying. So I believe Buhari is just acting because people are. It's like the whole world is talking about it. That's why he's acting now, because he should have acted long time ago.
All right, Edwin. Thank you for calling me. 99.3. Sorry about that. Call back if you can, okay? 0700-993-993-993. While you are chewing on that story, Akeredolu didn't win the election in 2016, but we made it possible for him to become governor. That's what the outgoing Ondo SSG said. And that's our second story. Let me talk to Shola real quick and then dive right into the second story. Shola, hello.
Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you for this topic. I'm supporting Daniel that called earlier. Magu is a victim of circumstances. The problem here is that the president himself believes in Magu, but the people around him does not want Magu to deliver. So it's a conspiracy against the man. If the man is returning more than what he even declared, it's an evidence that the man is sincere.
The man said he's returning. There's no proof that he's returning. No, he said he's returning. There's no proof that he actually is returning more than what he recovered. Now he talk him with his mouth.
Then definitely, wait till they just they witch hunt the man. They check him for lead to see they take the man off the road. Because the man is not allowing them to do what they wanted to do. That is just the truth of the matter. And they want him out by all means.
All right, Shola. Thanks for calling me. But yes, back to Ondo State. Akeredolu did not win election in 2016, but we made it possible for him to become governor. The outgoing Ondo SSG said that. So you already know that Sunday Abegunde resigned as secretary to the Ondo state government yesterday. And at first, he didn't say why. He just thanked Governor Rotimi Akeredolu for giving him a chance to serve. But in the evening, he spoke to a radio station in Yoruba. And he said he was resigning because the governor wasn't funding his office or him. He said, quote, I suffered in his administration because he didn't release any fund to my office. He has been telling lies that he was giving me 5 million naira every month, even when he knew that he didn't give me such money, end quote. And then he said what he said about the 2016 elections. Let me give you that quote again. Akeredolu didn't win the election in 2016, but we made it possible for him to become governor. Now, is it just me, or did Sunday Abegunde just go on radio to say that he helped to rig an election? Because what other explanation is there? If you say the person who was declared by INEC winner of an election didn't really win, but you made it possible for him to become governor, doesn't that mean you somehow made it so that the wrong person was declared winner? Isn't that rigging? Please, Lagos, I'm asking you. Isn't that rigging? The other day, we saw Festus Keyamo talk about how his ministry has given 15% of the 774,000 job slots to the National Assembly. If that is true, that's illegal. But here you had a minister, without being pressured, telling the press that he did something illegal. And now you have an outgoing SSG saying the sitting governor didn't really win an election. But he was one of those who got him into the office anyway. And I have to ask, are government officials getting comfortable talking about committing crimes openly? What exactly is happening here? I wonder whether the authorities will look into that statement. I also wonder whether the opposition in the state, the PDP, will look into that statement, will comment on it. After all, they contested the election against Akeredolu, but we hear that Abegunde may be defecting to the PDP to join the deputy governor. So I wonder, will the PDP be willing to make noise about their new member previously rigging an election? 0700 993 993 993. What do you think about his statement that Akeredolu lost the 2016 elections, but he and others made it possible for him to be governor? How do you interpret that statement? Maybe I'm the one that has something in my ear and I need to have my ears checked. Do you agree that he is unwittingly admitting that they rigged the election? I've got Chika on the line. Hello, Chika.
Hi, good afternoon, Sandra.
How are you?
I'm very fine, thank you. Well, for the former SSG, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, like you said, the reason why he gave in the interview yesterday evening as to why he resigned was that the governor was not actually funding his office the way it ought to be funded. And it was against that backdrop that he said that Akeredolu never won an election, that they helped him win the election. But there's one thing that surprised me in this country. I was expecting that by now, the former SSG will probably be with the necessary security agencies, trying to explain what he meant by that statement. Because it's such a grievous and a weighty statement. But here we're just discussing about it on radio. The man is talking about freely. It's about joining another political party. So what is our problem in this country? Then as for Magu, well, let him face the full wrath of the law. Let him be thoroughly investigated. If he's found wanting, he should face the law. This is man that was never confirmed. And I'm waiting for the likes of Professor Isesage, Yemi Osibanjo, and Festus Keyamo, who went on to say that Magu can act as far as Buhari is there. Why is same Buhari still suspending Magu again? It goes to show that the war against corruption is not actually very well detailed the way this administration has been chanting it. But I think only time we review the activities of Magu as the head of EFCC for the past 5 years. Let me allow others to call. Good afternoon.
Thanks for calling me, Chika. Good afternoon. 99.3. Hello? Sorry about that. Well, if you're calling me for just a minute, please stop calling me because we're not about to do just a minute anytime soon, okay? So the calls should only be for those who want to talk about what we're talking about on the show. If you just joined in to the show, hello, good afternoon. We're talking about The outgoing Ondo SSG saying that Governor Akeredolu did not really win the elections in 2016. We've talked about the EFCC Acting Chairman getting interrogated for corruption, getting suspended actually for corruption. And we're still going to talk about the Third Mainland Bridge. How will the closure of the Third Mainland Bridge affect you? Obona, hello.
Yeah, hello, Sandra.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good afternoon.
I want to talk about Magu.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, you see, I think it should be a weak hunt. But Magu is a strong man.
Okay.
And he does his work without fear or even favor.
Okay.
And remember, there was a time he wanted to probe the Senate. And because of that, that was why they didn't want to confine his appointments. There's a lot of things that is going on that they are not telling us.
Okay.
Yeah, Malami, was giving him pass mark. Buhari himself have trust in Magu.
Malami did not give him pass mark. Remember that I said Malami.
No.
Malami said, before Malami was giving him pass mark.
Yeah, I'm saying before, not now.
Now, okay.
Now all of a sudden he now started suggesting to the president that he should be removed, and he started bringing people that are going to replace him. And then before this, he burst out. And I want to say that if the money that he didn't declare fully, if that money was to be his own personal, or he want to put the personal, he wouldn't have kept it in the central bank. That money is in the central bank. It's not in his own personal account. It's in his EFCC account. So the man is a strong man, and people who are fighting him are much. Because he doesn't look at your face when he's doing something. He is the only EFCC chairman that has returned more money than any other chairman. I stand to be corrected. So I believe that he is something, and I would like if they will bring a private investigator, a neutral investigator, to investigate him. You will hear so many things. That was why they didn't want the press to be around when they are interviewing him. There are many things they don't want us to hear.
Well, that particular one, it's not really bad, because when police is interrogating people, for instance, people are not there, media is not there, so that one is neither here nor there. That press was not there, is neither here nor there.
Then what is the meaning of transparency in the government? What is the meaning of transparency? This thing is an open. It has blown open, and people need to hear. So there's nothing to be secret about it. No secrecy about it.
Okay.
So that's my stand.
All right, Obuna, thanks for calling to share it with me. On Twitter, James Agola says, it is really shameful that the head of EFCC is being investigated at this critical time. Whatever be the outcome, if he's found guilty, he should be made to face the music. But if he's innocent, he should continue with his job to indict those corrupt elements. As Mope on Twitter says, the EFCC Acting Chairman is facing challenges from different angles. I believe that corruption is fighting back with him. Tolani Ojuri on Twitter says, the Magu issue is all a power play. Same goes for Akeredolu and his deputy. They should please spare Nigerians the drama. We have enough with COVID. We've got Babatunde Michael who says, the everlasting acting EFCC chairman finally suspended acting chairman for 5 years. My God, Nigeria. All right. Raphael on Twitter says 98% appointees are all connected to our corrupt leaders. So what do we expect from Magu? A saint? It's not a surprise. If properly investigated, then they are not charging Magu because of corruption, but because he has stepped on a very powerful toe. Emmanuel Ofua on Twitter says, by now the SSG ought to have been arrested for colluding to subvert the will of the people. But Nigeria is a place where people get away with crimes and even flaunt it. Don't forget that we're streaming this conversation on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. We're also streaming on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. We've got WhatsApp where you can share your thoughts. WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. On Facebook, Ebi Ambo says, former President Jonathan the Sage told us a parable he titled The Goat and the Yam. Those who laughed at his parable back then because they wanted Buhari to be president should summon a family meeting in their various homes and tell the youngest member of their family to flog them in the public for being a fool. Okay. Caleb Abinoye on Facebook says, if PMB can act fast as a speed of light to sack Chief Walter Onogan, the CJN, then what is he waiting for to fire Ibrahim Magu of the EFCC? Well, he has suspended him, so I'm guessing that has answered your question. Timothy Alexander on Facebook says, if the government was not funding his office, why didn't he resign since? He waited until now that the election is at the corner. Nuhu Garba says, if PMB, well, I've taken that message. We've got more messages on Facebook. Here's one from Emmanuel Chikeze. Why is the outgoing SSG in Ondo State saying that his boss did not win election and he was one of the beneficiary of the rigging? The man should be arrested for being part of election malpractice. David Arinze says the matter must be investigated properly. They said Saraki and Ekweremadu was their problem. What is happening now? We've got Jonathan Atuvie who says votes don't count in Nigeria. They put the person they want. John Cybermail says okay, no, that's it. Washima Frank says the SSG should be sweating in prison for rigging. Him get mind, they tell the world. George Ejetavo says we must equally give the president credit if he received a report indicting Magu and decided to investigate it, not minding that Magu had been a trusted appointee. Let's take two more calls and move on to our final story. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili. If you just joined the show, you're listening to the Big Three on Hard Facts. We've told you that the EFCC Acting Chairman has been suspended for corruption. He hasn't been convicted. He hasn't been convicted, but the president has suspended him. I also told you that the outgoing Ondo SSG said that Governor Akeredolu did not really win the 2016 elections. He resigned yesterday, so he's I guess. We've got our final story still to come, Third Mainland Bridge. I'm going to tell you how that is going to work. Chris is in Okokomaiko. Hello, Chris.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Regarding the issue we are discussing about, indeed, Magu, honestly speaking, I joined the queue of the people who said that I will agree with them partially that somehow he's a victim of circumstance.
Okay.
Judging from the fact that, if you trace it back from the time of Nihu Ribadu, even to this present time, I think to me personally, he seems to be performing so far a highly performing chairman of EFCC. So regardless of the fact that what is he's being accused of now, honestly, I think it's just like the saying goes that the hunter not turned to be the hunted anyway. However, indeed, the only thing I can say now is this: I think there is more to that. Because heading an anti-corruption agency, it's a delicate job, and anybody who should be saddled with that responsibility, accountability should be the number one thing on the person's mind. So if you look at it from the allegation, the AGF is alleging that the account he did wasn't complete. It was more than what he declared that he have gotten. So it tells more. Honestly, no matter however anybody is sympathizing with him having been suspended, but to me, there's more to that because we're talking about money here, honestly speaking. So,
hello, Chris? Oh, that's unfortunate. Sorry about that. And thanks for calling us, Chris. We've got more calls on the show. Unfortunately, those are dropping as well. So that's my cue to pivot to the third story. Our third story, yet again, is the Third Mainland Bridge. We now have more details about how the closure will work. So the repairs will take 6 months, but the bridge won't be totally closed. They're going to be working on one direction at a time. So for the first 3 months, they will close one set of lanes while the other one will be open. And then after 3 months, they'll switch. So I guess we'll find out soon enough whether both directions of traffic will share the same set of lanes with maybe a temporary demarcation, or whether only one direction of traffic will be able to use the bridge. But either way, traffic between island and mainland is about to get very tough. I mean, even right now, with the bridge completely open, rush hours are a nightmare. Now, imagine when the bridge is half closed. And again, the big question is, could this work not have started a few months ago during the full lockdown? I mean, it would have reduced the number of active months when the bridge is half closed. But last, this half open, half closed arrangement, it's a fair compromise, I think. At the end of the day, we need to repair the bridge at some point, and it means that we need to close it. You cannot work on a bridge while people are driving on the bridge. But how will it affect you? Do you use the bridge during your commute? How's the closure going to affect you? I want to hear from people who currently use Third Mainland Bridge. Right now, a lot of Lagosians are talking about the existence or non-existence of alternatives. Now, of course, there's no Fourth Mainland Bridge yet. Previous governors talked about it, but execution, really. Fashola said it wasn't a priority, that the light rail was more important. By the way, we still don't have light rail. Governor Sanwo-Olu said he will build a Fourth Mainland Bridge, but that was before Corona, so we don't know what's going to happen with that. We'll see whether the plans have changed. But the point is that right now, we still don't have enough public transports, natural alternatives to the bridge. We don't have enough public transport boats on the water, and that's even after the government promised more of these water modes of transportation, after they banned Okada and banned Keke. And then there are the safety issues. We just had another boat capsize last week, and people died. So it really doesn't look like we've done a good enough job creating alternatives. A city as important as Lagos should have 10 mainland bridges by now. One bridge having to shut down for 6 months shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a crippling problem. But here we are. It is a problem. How often do you use the bridge? Do you use it daily? Do you use it weekly? Do you use it monthly? What time of the day are you usually on the bridge? And how long does it take you to cross the bridge? I'm asking because when the bridge is only half open, you're probably going to have to spend a lot more time on that bridge in traffic. Are you going to keep using the bridge? Are there alternatives that you have in mind? Do you have some alternatives in mind? 0700-993-993. 993. Yes, you can still talk about our other stories on today's show. We've brought you the story about the former SSG who may have just admitted to rigging elections. We asked as well if you think the 8th Senate was right about Magu, and how will the closure of the Third Mainland Bridge affect you? Talk about all three, talk about only one, talk about only two. That's up to you. Prince YS is in Amuodofing. Hello, sir.
How are you today, Sandra?
Very well.
Yeah, your three topics, all of them are so fantastic. Number one, Sandra, if somebody is told 50 years ago, and they come around to say, I stole, what the next thing to do? Is to let him go through the court of law. Those secretaries to the government of the secretary of that state, whether DSS, whether the police, or order from presidency, it demands to be arrested. It should be queried. It should be tried. Because a lesson reading that's not a decent something to do. You have already confessed now. It should be taken to court of law. Number one. Number two, the Lagos State, the Third Mainland Bridge. I've inquired this morning. Somebody told me the equipment to be used just arrived. Number one. Number two, and I asked a question, they say, why during the lockdown, why can't they do this one? He said, then, whether private or this thing, everybody was at home. That's why certain time you can't be done, that period. But for me, I want the work to be done because lack of maintenance is what is making all our infrastructure looks so decayed. So when something needs to be repaired, they should repair it at a record time. Therefore, that. And for Magu, Sandra, Magu, where it was appointed by Mr. President, it is then DSS man that he wrote a damaging accusation against Magu to the National Assembly. And then, as President, but allow that DSS man to write that such damaging allegation. Because when you have a complaint, you are working with Mr. President. When you have a complaint, you have to lay the complaint to the table of Mr. President, not to write a separate letter to the National Assembly. That's why I say Mr. President, he does something wrong there. But now, Marco stole money. If he embezzle money, it should go. With what your salary is, you are allowed to have a legal right to touch our Commonwealth. But what I commend this man for is a very lion-hearted somebody. He's working very hard. This is the first time I was in this country. It's the first for former governor behind the bar. A lot of people behind the bar. Don't we stole our money? The money recovered by this man, I'm telling you. As a former wife of Mr. As I listen, Madweke, all those property received from them. It is Magu. So if somebody can come out to perform like Magu, I would say kudos to him. But as of now, if Magu is out of the race, my good, but he perform. I must say kudos to him. That's my style. Have a nice day, your studio, my dear.
You too, Prince YS from Amua Dolphin. On WhatsApp, Arab Money from Ikeja says, interesting topics in an interesting nation. Anyways, the issue of the EFCC chairman suspended, I see no reason why he cannot be tried and interrogated on national TV since he's a national figure. We see these kinds of trials on TVs in other nations. I believe Nigeria can take the same suit. Everybody will behave. Good day. All right, Arab Money, thanks for your message. It doesn't rain, but it pours. This saying captures the reasons why Ibrahim Magu has continued to have problems about his stay in office. He has been subjected to doubts about his integrity, lost the moral rectitude before his suspension to leave the commission, and recent travails have elicited more questions about him. Corruption have continued to upend Buhari's government. Buhari needs to adopt radical transparency in his anti-graft war, evict liabilities in his inner circle, appoint the right people to critical posts, and drive the anti-graft crusade. Enough of this corruption virus. On the FG's plans for repairs on the Third Mainland Bridge, and the bridges will definitely be closed for 6 months. The 11.8 kilometers bridge is the longest of the 3 bridges connecting Lagos Island to the mainland. The traffic on the bridge is legendary during peak hours. It is not just a bridge, it is part of the fabric of the city. But the fabric is wearing thin. Nigeria is notorious for its horrible maintenance culture, and the bridge is a metaphor for the official irresponsibility and neglect of our national assets. Chukwudi Urakba says. Chukwudi, thanks for sending your message in. Interestingly, Chukwudi Ezugu at 4 p.m. We'll be talking about maintenance culture for Community U Report. The bridge is one of the big issues, as well as the inner roads here in Lagos. Gabriel is in Ogun State. Hello, Gabriel.
Yeah, good afternoon. My name is Gabriel.
Yes, welcome to the show.
Yeah. Let us go back. 2018, if I don't make mistake, I think that bridge was closed and Fashola worked on that bridge. What wrong with that bridge? Can Lagos tell me what wrong with that bridge? That bridge is less than some part of the bridge is less. It's about 30 years, just 30 years ago. Jonathan, in 5 years, they built that bridge twice. What wrong with that bridge? A co-bridge has been closed down since around February, before this close down between that Alaka side. That place has been closed down up till now.
Well, bridges are typically repaired regularly, so that they can be in good condition.
What wrong with the bridge? That's what we should ask. I drive on that bridge 4 times on Sunday.
Okay.
We just have a lot of efforts. Pastor just work on that place 2018. We should ask our leader a question. Maybe we start jumping and let them visit. This was that where they stole this money. You talk of the EFCC man, and no man can walk there. We're not going to steal. Low. I bet you, no Nigerian man can walk there. We're not going to steal. If you go to near our office in the police office where they see people vehicles, large number of vehicles, there's a house opposite their office, Okoteba. They write EFCC seized out by February. When I passed there on Saturday, that EFCC seized out, that signboard will be removed. One beautiful house in the Okoteba there, opposite one of the office. Beautiful house. I said to say, God bless me. I've bought that. I've looked for money. I'll buy that house. No Nigerian man. Don't let us just call. I'll be making mouth. No Nigerian man go walk there. We're not going to see the kind of money is flowing there.
So you're saying that Magu stole?
Why not? If you bring our forefathers Jojo come, no one go swear. No one go free. No one. See, from security down to the Mago himself, nobody is free there. No one. Don't let us just deceive ourselves. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for calling me, Gabriel. Let's go back to WhatsApp, where we've got lots of messages, and then we'll come and take another call via the phone lines, of course. Our number is 0700-993-993. We've got somebody who says, Magu should be removed. It's long overdue. Saraki was right all along to have not confirmed him. Very funny APC. That's a message from Tayo Jakande. Tayo, thanks for sending your message in. Sandra, the friend of your enemy is your enemy. Umar and Magu are friends, and recently Umar spoke against Buhari and also in an association that is in an opposition to the president, Chris says. Is that so? Thank you for sending your message in. Somebody says, I think Magu is just a victim of circumstance. In my speculation, maybe he already has a corruption hint on the AGF. Okay. But you didn't leave your name, though. But thank you for sending your message in. Good afternoon, Sandra. Regarding the issue of the Third Mainland Bridge partial closure, I'm of the opinion that our government is insensitive to the plight of the common man. Why the closure? What happened during the lockdown? Because it will add to the hardship of the common man. God bless Nigeria. Okay, from Ejibo says. Okay, thank you for sending your message in. Let's go to Gabriel from Ikpaja, who says the Magu case is that he has offended some people, so his file was dusted and presented to the president. Though Magu has brought some reforms to the EFCC. If Magu is returning more than what he declared, isn't that an admission of guilt? Who does that? Okay, if he's returning more than what he declared, that's an interesting way to look at it. Okay. We've got Ola from Isolo, who says, why hold it in secret? Does our discussion what? Okay, does our discussion get to the presidency? If it does, please tell Mr. President not to give in to the deception. Mr. Magu, from information on ground, shouldn't be sacked. Mr. Gambari, are you seeing? Now, wow. All right. Thank you for sending that message in. We've got this one who says, Magu's interrogation over the alleged corruption can only be best described as beating around the bush. If the investigative panel really wants to do a good job, as being seen in sane societies, they would have finished their underground work, as well as we all saw with the Hush Puppy saga. And with the resignation of the Ondo State SSG, the Governor Akeredolu should know that his head is already on fire, and therefore expected to sue for peace among his fellow contenders in the APC to make sure that he retains his seat. Chika Bende is at Trade Fair here in Lagos. Let me talk to Amanze. Amanze, we're still expecting your details to give you your 10,000 naira.
Oh, you have not called me.
We've not seen your details now. You've not sent it.
You told me to wait for a call. That is it.
No. We told you that you should send. Okay, fine. I've sent your number to them. They'll call you.
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that. But go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say that I feel so ashamed that a Nigerian like me will come to a national radio, like this important radio station, and say that all Nigeria are thieves or criminals. I have to tell you that I am not one.
Okay.
And if I find myself in a leadership position, I'll lead by example. And right now, I hold a place in the Maliti community. I've done great things in that particular aspect. If you don't know a Nigerian leader that have led in this country and led the honesty and transparency issue, ask you should go and look for the archive, and there's a name. Tafawa Balewa, who this country was the leader in this country, and he led exceptionally. So that statement he made, for me, is short my person, and I don't like it. Finally, Magu should have himself in shame. I'm not surprised that he found himself in this cobweb.
This government too should help it, because there's a DSS report on that young man. Before the president, in his own way, refused to listen and still haven't up to this moment. The Senate of the former ex-Senate refused to confirm this man. The president was still adamant in having him. Look at where we have come. That is when you refuse to listen to the voice of the people. You rubbish yourself. You put yourself in the mud, and that's what happened to this government. And if I am Magu, I won't wait until they attack me. I will just send them a letter, and for integrity's sake. In fact, I'm so ashamed. In fact, I'm so pissed right now that such a person is still there in the name of suspension. He should be on trial right now. That man should be arrested for trying to bring shame upon this country. You see, that man, in fact, for the people he has seized their property, he has put in jail, blackmail and all that. He is what he must go through what each and every one went through. Thank you, President Sandra.
All right, Amanze, thanks for calling. Quite the pleasure talking to Amanze there, who won our 10,000 naira last week, Friday. By the way, if you want to win on Just a Minute, you need to listen to the shows Morning Crossfire, What's Up Lagos, Sunnyside, and Hard Facts. You're also listening to Femi and the Gang. They have a version of Just a Minute. It's a 90 seconds game. You have to play for your league or any league that you decide you want to play for and win. It's pretty fun. It's pretty easy. You should tune in sometime and win. We've got a message from Eric on WhatsApp who says, too many roads should not be under construction at the same time. The citizens are already facing too many holdups. And that's where we wrap up today's conversation on the big three. Don't forget that at 5 o'clock, I'm going to be speaking with Olumide Akbata. He wants to be president of the Nigeria Bar Association. We'll find out why he wants to be president at 5 o'clock. So if you're a lawyer, if you are interested in the law, if you have a family member who's a lawyer, if you are simply looking for good conversation, stay here until 5 when that conversation will come your way. I am Sandra Ezekwesili.
Hard Facts will be right back.